You did exactly what they asked. You poured the apple juice into the blue cup. But the moment that plastic hits the floor, you realize the mistake. They wanted the red cup. And now the world is ending. As the screaming begins, your adult instincts take over. You reach for the most reliable tool in your kit, rational negotiation. You explain that the juice tastes the same regardless of the container. You might even remind them that they were the ones who specifically asked for the blue cup in the first place. But the words don't land. Trying to reason with a toddler in this state feels like trying to negotiate with a brick wall. Surviving these moments requires a shift in perspective, moving away from the idea that this is behavioral defiance and looking instead at the internal systems driving the chaos. To understand what is happening inside that head, we can look at a framework developed by experts Dr. Daniel Siegel and Dr. Tina Payne-Bryson. They describe the human brain as a two-story house. The downstairs brain includes the brainstem and the limbic system. This is the primitive, fast-acting part of the house. It is responsible for basic survival and the generation of raw, intense emotions. The upstairs brain, or the cerebral cortex, handles the more complex work. This is where logic, reason, empathy, and executive control live. In a healthy, calm mind, both floors communicate through a clear, functional staircase. But in a child, that staircase is fragile and easily severed. When the wrong cup triggers a meltdown, that minor disappointment registers as a massive surge of negative energy in the downstairs brain. The primitive brain misinterprets this intense emotion as a life or death threat. It initiates a system override that effectively slams a gate shut at the top of the stairs, cutting off the upper level. This is the phenomenon of flipping the lid. The logic center goes offline, becoming physically inaccessible to the child. When you try to explain that it's just a cup, you are attempting to speak to an upstairs brain that is currently locked away. Using logic during this hijack often makes the situation worse. To the downstairs brain, your frustration sounds like an escalation of the active threat. This hijack is so effective in toddlers because of the specific way their brains develop. This chart shows the development of executive function, the skills required to manage information and control impulses. Between ages 0 and 3, the proficiency level is essentially flat. Real development involves a steep climb through adolescence, reaching its peak in the late 20s. The child isn't acting out of malice or choosing to be difficult. The structural hardware required to regulate these big emotions simply hasn't been built yet. Understanding this hardware deficit allows parents to use the connect and redirect strategy. During the connect phase, you speak only to the active downstairs brain. This means using right brain signals, a gentle touch, a low voice, and emotional validation. This physical empathy acts as an all-clear signal, proving to the limbic system that there is no danger and allowing the false alarm to shut down. Once the system cools, the gate to the upstairs brain reopens. This is the redirect phase, where executive function slowly returns. The rule of engagement is simple. Only after that gate has reopened can you successfully use logic to set a boundary or solve the problem of the cup. This shift moves a parent from the role of an exhausted negotiator to a biological co-regulator for their child. Every time you guide a child safely through a meltdown, you are forging new, permanent connections between the downstairs and upstairs brain. Surviving a tantrum is more than just restoring peace to your afternoon. It is the active process of building the architecture your child will rely on for the rest of their life.